Big oil companies made $30 million an hour in profits alone in the 1 month that we've been at war with Iran. $30 million an hour, every hour, for an entire month. Burn it to the ground.
How we doing, guys? How we doing? Thanks for tuning in. Sorry, took a little break for a week to figure out what kind of stories we're going to do and this and that. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate the comments and all the likes and shares and attention you guys give the show. So today we're actually just going to get right into it. This is going to be about oil profiting right now with the gas prices the way that they are. I want to remind everybody that on the 26th of February of this year, that gas prices were $2.63 in Michigan. I know because I got to get gas every fucking day, so I definitely feel this shit more than usual. And war is supposed to be a tragedy, a last resort, a failure of diplomacy, humanity, and imagination. But for a handful of corporations, war is something else entirely. It's a profit event, a jackpot, a once-in-a-generation opportunity to extract billions while the world burns. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something most Americans never look at closely: how oil companies quietly profit from global conflict and how they use that money to shape politics, policy, and public perception. This isn't a conspiracy. This is documented behavior, financial filings, lobby records, and decades of repeating patterns. So buckle in, because once you see how the machine works, you can't unsee it. And that's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully people today will see this and, they'll call congressmen and call senators and do something that they can do to change what we can, For me, I don't really understand how these oil companies can spend so much money lobbying to politicians and then hold production at certain rates to keep their shareholders happy with profits, but say fuck the constituents of the politicians that they're, lobbying for their policies to make more profit or more money or whatever they do, regulations, whatever bullshit. So let's start with the basic equation, the one oil executives understand better than anyone. War disrupts supply. Disruption creates scarcity, and scarcity drives prices up. And when prices go up, oil companies don't just make more money; they make record-shattering, history-defining, bonus-triggering money. During the Russia-Ukraine war, oil prices surged, and the five biggest Western oil companies, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Shell, BP, and Total Energies, made around $467 billion in profit over 4 years. Nearly $500 billion. Nearly $500 billion in profits in 4 years. And here's the kicker. They returned $440 billion of that to the shareholders through dividends and stocky buybacks. That's not helping the world through an energy crisis. That's harvesting a windfall created by human suffering. And it's not new. When the Middle East flares up, whether it's in the Gulf War, the Iraq War, or the recent U.S., Iran, Israel conflict, oil prices spike. The latest crisis, oil shot towards $119 a barrel, nearly double what it was months earlier. And every time the same thing happens. Consumers panic, governments scramble, and oil companies quietly rake in billions of dollars. Because war doesn't just raise prices, it gives them cover, a narrative shield. They can say, hey, it's not us, it's the instability, it's the geopolitics, it's the market. But behind closed doors, they know exactly what's happening. Why do oil companies behave this way? Why don't they ramp up production to ease prices? Why don't they sacrifice short-term profit for long-term stability? Because the system is designed, engineered to reward the opposite. Let's break it down. Fiduciary duty. Executives are legally obligated to maximize shareholder value. Not public good, not national security, not climate stability. Shareholder value. Executive compensation. CEO is directly tied to stock price, earnings per share, and total shareholder return. So when war spikes prices, their bonuses explode. A CEO can make more money from a single year of wartime profits than from a decade of normal operations. Let me say that again. A CEO can make more money from a single year of wartime profits than from a decade of normal operations. Big investors like BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street push for capital discipline. That means don't drill too much, don't flood the market, keep supply tight, and return cash to shareholders. In other words, high prices are good, low prices are bad. Of course, coming again from big investment firms like BlackRock and State Street. Imagine. Oil executives don't think in decades, they think in quarters. If they don't deliver record profits now, they're replaced. So when war hits, the incentive is simple. Ride the wave, don't fix the problem, and cash the checks. Let's talk tactics. The behind-the-scenes moves that keep wartime profits flowing. Underinvesting in production. When prices spike, governments beg oil companies to pump more, but companies often refuse. They say, we're being cautious. We're uncertain about the future, and we need to protect shareholder value. Translation, if we pump more, prices drop. If prices drop, profits drop, so we are not pumping. Imagine. Oil companies don't need to collude, they just watch each other. If Exxon says it's prioritizing shareholder returns over production growth, Chevron follows. Then Shell, then BP. It's a soft cartel. No smoking gun, but a shared strategy. Even when crude prices stabilize, refining margins can explode. During crisis, the gap between crude input and the gasoline output widens. That's why gas prices stay high even when oil prices fall. Stock buybacks. This is the big one. When profits surge, companies buy back their own stock. This boosts share price, boosts executive bonuses, boosts investor returns, and reduces the number of shares, making future earnings look even better. It's financial engineering, and it's widely effective. Dividends. Oil companies raise dividends during crisis. It signals strength. It keeps investors loyal, and it turns war into a wealth transfer mechanism. Tax avoidance. Many oil giants use offshore subsidies, transfer pricing, tax havens, and accelerated depreciation. So while they profit from war, they often pay shockingly little in taxes. Big fucking surprise. Where the money goes. Let's follow the money. Shareholders. The biggest winner of wartime oil profits are hedge funds, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and wealthy individuals. When oil prices spike, these groups get massive payouts. CEOs routinely earn multi-million-dollar bonuses, stock awards that vest at maximum levels, long-term incentive packages triggered by high profits. During the Ukraine war, some oil executives earned the largest bonuses of their careers. Consumers get higher gas prices, higher heating bills, higher food prices, higher transportation costs. Governments often cut fuel taxes, subsidize energy bills, and spend billions stabilizing markets. Meanwhile, taxpayers are the ones who foot the bill while corporations pocket the profits. That story is getting about as old as fucking time, isn't it? Now we get to the part most Americans never see. How oil companies use wartime profits to shape politics. Lobbying. Oil companies and their trade groups spend tens of millions every year lobbying on tax policy, drilling rates, environmental regulations, sanctions, export rules, and pipeline approvals. During crisis, lobbying spikes. They fund PACs, super PACs, political committees, ballot initiatives. They don't care about party, they care about access. The revolving door, former senators, regulators, military officials, intelligence officers often end up on oil boards or as lobbyists. They bring insider knowledge, political connections, and influence. Oil money quietly funds energy security think tanks, climate skeptic organizations, and pro-fossil fuel research groups. These groups produce reports, op-eds, talking points, congressional testimony, all designed to shape the public opinion. During crisis, oil companies run ads about supporting communities, keeping America moving, and investing in the future. Meanwhile, they're spending 10 times more on shareholder payouts than on renewable energy. Amazing, isn't it? Whenever governments propose taxing wartime profits, oil companies unleash lobbyists, lawyers, PR firm, and political allies. They argue it will hurt investment, but the numbers show they weren't investing anyways. Here's a few real-world examples. Russia-Ukraine war, $460 billion in profits, 444 billion returned to shareholders, record bonuses, minimal investment in renewables. The Middle East conflict. Oil surges to $119 a barrel, refining margins widen, U.S. consumers pay more, and oil companies quietly celebrate. Iraq war. Oil companies didn't cause the war, but they benefited massively from the reconstruction contracts, drilling rights, and long-term access to reserve. So what do we do with all this? We're not saying oil companies start wars, but we are saying they profit from them, and they have no incentive to reduce that profit. The system rewards scarcity, instability, high prices, political influence, and punishes transparency, consumer protection, climate action, long-term planning. This isn't a bug, it's the design. War profiteering isn't always loud, it's not always obvious. Sometimes it's quiet, boardroom quiet, shareholder meeting quiet, lobbyists whisper quiet. But the impact is loud. It's in your gas bill, it's in your grocery bill, it's in your heating bill, and it's in your taxes. And the more we understand the system, the harder it becomes for that system to operate in the shadows. So that's all I'm trying to do, is to just point out little things here that most people don't pay attention to. Like most people, we see the high gas prices at the pump, and we kind of just figure that that's just the way that it has to be because we're at war, and we understand that there's a straight close where energy is flowing through and it's not flowing through anymore. That's, basic economics, supply and demand. But the problem is that they're purposely withholding supply so that they can manage their legal obligations for shareholder returns. And, this is why countries move to nationalize their resources, and then we go to war with them because we can't have them making money off of their own resources. Like, why isn't America's resources nationalized? Like, we're a first world fucking country, and we got oil companies bribing our fucking politicians and lobbying for policies and everything to make them make more fucking money. But when it comes down to it, nobody's releasing the valve to help Americans. Like, it's cool if you want to make money across the world, but these are the constituents of the people that you lobby to get the benefits that you get for being an American oil company, to make billions of dollars. Cool, but you can't even help out simple Americans by producing more to stabilize the gas price at home? How does that work? How is that okay for our politicians? How is that okay for you to respond to your constituents that are wondering, how is it that these oil companies are making record fucking profits, paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to lobby these fucking politicians to get the policies that benefit them, yet they're not doing anything to benefit us? How is that a thing? Where are the people that are supposed to be here for the American people? Instead, we're arguing over Israel this and a bunch of bullshit that. Like, let's get to the real fucking problem. These companies making billions and billions of dollars while Americans suffer, and Americans pay the price no matter what it is. Whether it's for war or for drugs, for healthcare, it doesn't matter. Americans are always footing the fucking bill, and more we have to foot the bill. Oh, they want a ballroom and it's not going to come from tax dollars. Oh, now there's a fucking bill that they want to spend $1 billion of taxpayer money on a fucking ballroom. Like, bro, what are we doing? When are we going to do something for Americans? This guy ran on the biggest America First platform and lied to everybody. He's not America First. He's the first Jewish president. That's what he said. And what we're getting is a bunch of Jewish policies. We got a Jewish Heritage Month, but we didn't get no relief on gas prices. We didn't get no relief on the fuel surcharge for people delivering food using diesel fuel. We're not getting any relief as Americans. But oil companies are making fucking billions. Trump's family is making fucking billions. while Americans still suffer. Americans paying the price like they always fucking do. Yet we never can do anything about it because all of our politicians are bought out. The people we're supposed to elect are bought by all of these different lobbying firms, all of these different fucking companies that are just ranking in record profits. You know, we got Dr. Fauci who could have been fucking charged because he lied to Congress, and they're not going to charge him with that. This is criminal empire shit. This isn't an empire that takes care of its people or anything like that. This is a corporate oligarchy where the corporations run our country. They run our politicians. They create our policies. They're controlling our entire life, our livelihoods. The money they're allowed to spend on elections and buying up these politicians that put in direct policies that benefit these companies to make more money, yet we get nothing. We get nothing. Roads that are broken down, water systems that are torn apart, water that ain't even fucking healthy to drink in some cities. Veterans starving on the street, active duty members can't afford housing. Like, what are we doing? We got an election coming up, but what's it going to change? Are we going to arrest anybody? Because this shit is fucking criminal. We can't continue to go down this road because it's not a sustainable thing. It's not sustainable for anybody. Especially the Americans who suffer every single day. We pay more and more every single day, yet nothing changes. Products don't change, nothing changes, yet it still costs more and more. More and more money for the same product, the same thing. How does that math work? Yet our money isn't going up. Rent keeps going up. Mortgages keep going up. Bills keep going up. But when's our money going to go up? Why doesn't that go up? Profits go up, but money doesn't go up? How is that not an American law? How is there not any regulations for this shit? Who wrote this shit? Who made this shit? It's the same billionaires who are profiting off this shit. It's the same billionaires who hide behind politicians to pull strings. The same billionaires whose faces aren't in the public space. The ones who hide in the shadows. They're the ones doing everything. They're the ones who benefit. They have so much control over these companies that have so much control over other companies because they've bought them all up with the cheap interest rate loans that they get to go acquire assets. And then they get to make those assets behave how they want them to behave so they can profit the most. So BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, you're making the most money because you're forcing policies to make it so that the shareholders, which is you, benefit the most from all of their policies or any of their actions. Yet their workers down at the bottom have shitty fucking benefits, shitty fucking wages, shitty fucking HMOs, shitty 401 fucking Ks, while you guys are making fucking billions of dollars. This shit is criminal. It should be against the fucking law. We should have government agencies that actually do their fucking job. Where's the regulations? Where's the oversight? Where are the people that we're voting for to protect us from this kind of behavior? This kind of malicious behavior. Criminal behavior. That's what it is. It's criminal. People are dying directly for you to profit more. People are directly losing their homes and losing their status and losing things in life and losing opportunities to help their kids move better because they have to pay more at the pump or more at the grocery store or more for an electric bill or more for a gas bill while they're making billions of dollars. Yet nobody bats an eye. Nobody does anything. All we want to talk about is what's going on overseas, what's going on here. Meanwhile, they're triggering that shit just so that they can make more money. I'm surprised at this point they haven't started charging people to send their kids to school on a bus because gas is so fucking expensive. You know? When are we going to wake up as Americans and realize that this is supposed to be our country? This country belongs to us. The land of the people. The people who live here, the people who work every single day, they go to work no matter the struggles they face. They go to work because they have families to provide for. They have lives to live. And we're supposed to have a government that supports us and makes it so that we should just be able to go to work and take care of our families and do things when we can afford to do things, but we can't afford to fucking do anything. But our government can afford to go to war. They can afford to hide fucking files. They can spend millions of dollars combing through files to make sure they pick and choose anything out of it. Like, no accountability anywhere. Insider trading, fraud, NGOs, poor DEI hires, college campuses being fucking held at gunpoint, essentially. You know? Figuratively gunpoint with financials. Don't express this, don't express concern for that, or we'll pull your funding. If you let students protest, we'll pull your funding. They pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to fucking school, and they can't voice their feelings or voice their stance on political endeavors that the United States drags us into and spends our money on. That's insane to me. You know, I just want you guys to wake up, pay attention, realize what's happening. We stay in this la-di-da world where we get all these fancy things and live this fancy life, but it's really not that fancy. It's only fancy for the ones who are making billions of dollars. It's not fancy for the people who struggle every day. It's not fancy for the people who wonder what their next meal is going to be, which is unfortunately a lot of fucking Americans. A lot of children wondering what they're going to eat. A lot of children who don't get to see their parents because their parents both have to work multiple jobs just to keep a roof over their head. When is that going to matter in America? When are we going to have a war on poverty? We can have a war on terrorism and a war on drugs. Unwinnable wars, I might add. But you don't have a war on poverty, a war on starvation, a war on clean water. But we can afford wars that we shouldn't even be getting into, wars that other presidents have denied, wars that intelligence officials told you not to engage in, illegal wars, breaking the international law on the world stage when we're supposed to set the example. We have to do better, America. I hope that we wake up. I hope that people pay attention to what's going on and people start holding the government accountable. That's all we can try to do. You know, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry it's been a while, but we'll get the videos going again. Hopefully today's episode wakes you up and makes you realize what's really happening. They're making billions while we suffer, and we're paying at the pump. They're making record money, and we're paying record highs for gas. You know, I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, share, tell people about us. Tune in. We'll see you next time. Thank you.